greatest technology being built around the DFW area? Generation Race Cars and JL Racing, located in Springtown, Texas, are now offering top-of-the-line, state-of-the-art Southern Sport Mods and limited modifieds. Generation Race Cars and JL Racing can provide new cars, turnkey, complete bodies, shock revalving, and chassis updates, along with providing trackside setup guidance and a whole lot more. If you're looking at competing at a whole new level, call 817-528-2947 and ask for Justin today. You can contact them through the JL Racing Facebook page to learn more about Generation Race Cars. You put a ton of effort into your race program. Now take it to victory lane with GRC.
This is the Revved Up Sports Show with Bobby Chaffee.
We do have this nice little format that we try to follow every week. We don't usually follow it.
And Rodney Rodriguez.
Entertainment. Tell me something. I need to know something other than what I'm seeing.
Y'all ready? All right, here we go. Here's Bobby and Rodney.
Hello, friends. Welcome into a Monday. Anything going on?
Not really.
Kind of
gonna get cold.
Quiet weekend. Not a lot to talk about.
You know what? I had McDonald's for lunch today.
I got to tell you,
I got inspired. I kept seeing it all over the television. For some reason, decided to have McDonald's today.
is the McRib back yet?
Not yet. I just had a regular little quarter pounder with cheese.
That's the one, man. That's
it
right.
packed a punch. Let me tell you.
Are you talking about when you had to hit the toilet thing a couple times?
Just a couple.
Couple times. Well, wait a minute. You told me that y'all didn't have any water in your office.
That was at lunch, though.
That
was at lunch. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They didn't turn the water off till 3:00.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good because that would be a very bad scenario, as the Formula One people say, if that happened. Formula One week, dude. Time to get after it.
Getting closer and closer, ain't it?
Time to get Austin fired up, and as you mentioned, getting cooler. Got rained on. Interesting weekend. There's lots to break down. 6:45, Jeff Shepard will join us. 7:10, we're talking to Big Drew Simmental. 7:35, Phil Whipple checks in, and that's when we have our 2022 Revved Up Sports Show Driver of the Year, Texas Short Track Driver of the Year unveiling coming up as we get set for that. And I got on very good accord. A recommendation. I don't know if anyone has tested out yet the Whataburger chili cheese Frito pie burger. Have you tried that one?
It doesn't sound appealing.
Well, I have it on good word. From our man Owen Pittman. He like pulled me aside Saturday over at Houston, and he's like, dude, have you had that yet? And I said, no, I thought about it, but the day I thought about it, I had stuff that I had to do where I couldn't get to the bathroom. And I'm like, man, because
just in case,
if that chili gets a runny, I don't want to be wearing that. I don't need any sharding going on. You know what I'm saying? But
that would not go good at cycling.
So here's no. This I had a meeting that I had to go to, but so he says that when you have the chili and the combination of the chili that Whataburger is using, it's he said it was taking him back between the cheese and the Frito pie and everything. It took him back to like eating Frito pies at CC Speedway.
Really?
That's got to be good.
But is Frito pie on a burger though? Like that? How does that?
And two carnitas, two meats.
Wait, so it's a double patty with the chili cheese?
It's a double.
Aye.
It's a double with, I mean, I guess you can get cheese on it, but chili and all of that on there, man. That has got to be some damn fine eating.
I guess I'll have to try it at some point. I mean, it sounds like it could be rough. It sounds like it could be rough on the old intestines, but
oh man, I don't care about that. It is worth it. You know what, Bobby? I've got to scoot that camera over just a little bit.
Am I cutting off?
No, I can only see one shoulder. You know how shit like this gets to me. So y'all carry on without me.
So you'll see an updated picture here in just a second. This is why we do live radio. This is what and live video too, for that matter. I guess I was scooted further over during the pre-show.
There we go.
Is that better? No, I guess so. I mean, I could always scoot a little closer to you.
No, that's okay. And that's why, you know, when I'm looking, that's perfectly good right there. And that's why
better. I scooted over a little bit too.
Looking at this stuff, it's like, oh my God. it's like shit like that drives me up the wall. But yes, great show coming up. Congratulations, all the race winners this weekend. Bruce Wright checking in from the ATL, checking in from Bad Street, Atlanta, GA, once again, with our great. Oh, wait a minute. We were supposed to. Oh man, we screwed up on the movie thing. We'll do that next week. We were going to do that. There's probably people like, man, I had my top 10 movies all ready to go. We'll do that next week, or we can talk about it tonight, whatever.
If we have enough time, we'll hit some of them tonight.
Yeah,
I kind of forgot about it too.
Yeah, I totally did.
So we could get the slides ready.
I totally did. Yeah, I forgot about all of that. So we'll figure that out. Guys, I know that you people don't want to talk about NASCAR, but I guarantee you today you do. Yesterday, so the biggest culprit yesterday. So obviously we saw Bubba and Kyle Larson. I saw Chandler Smith over at the Winchester 400.
Oh, that's right. He got a little excited too.
Couple of pouty guys, man. Couple of pouty guys. Why is this surprising to people when you see this? Because this is these just. I mean, you saw it on network TV, and this was at the 400. This is common. This is common. This is what people do nowadays. I don't really see why it's so surprising.
Oh, breaking news sounder.
Oh.
It's on Twitter. A statement and an apology from Bubba Wallace.
Oh, hold on. Ah, dang it. Producer sucks.
So this is from the Bubba Wallace Twitter page as of about 6 minutes ago, or less than that, actually. I want to apologize for my actions on Sunday following the on-track incident with Kyle Larson in the number 5 car. My behavior does not align with the core values that we are shared by 2311 Racing and our partners who have played a critical role in my incredible journey to the top of this great sport. I want to apologize to NASCAR and the fans, along with Christopher Bell, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Toyota for putting them in a situation in the playoffs they did not deserve. I compete with immense passion, and with this passion at times come frustration. Upon reflecting, I should have represented our partners and core team values better than I did by letting my frustrations follow me outside of the car. You live and you learn, and I intend to learn from this. Sounds like they chewed his ass today is what it sounds like.
Sounds well written to me. And here's the bottom line, guys. And I know yesterday I was catching a lot of heat on Facebook and Twitter with, I mean, like I posted, look, if I did that, I should be suspended. It wouldn't be so bad. He needs to go and talk to Kurt Busch, his former now teammate, and they need to discuss two things. Number one, Kurt Busch's current situation, because the timing of this is horrible, because he does all of this after we have been getting drilled for a week about how unsafe these cars are. Mm-hmm. All of you people,
left rear or right rear in him.
All of you people have been bitching about how these cars are unsafe, and this doesn't need to happen. That's been very obvious. So that happens. And the other thing that young Bubba needs to go talk to Kurt Busch about is how to straighten your ass up, because that really is the best example. Hey, look, I don't care if it's white, brown, yellow, green, blue. I don't care what color you are. And of course, that's where this goes. Because it's just him. I mean, if this would have been, had this been a situation to where we had, and I would still say the same damn thing. Let's say Michael McDowell did what Bubba Wallace did yesterday. I would still say he needs to sit. I mean, he needs to sit, and I think a lot of that is get him out of the car, put somebody else in there, and let him think about it. It's like when you're a kid, you're grounded. Sit here for a week and think about your actions.
Well, I still think they're going to park him. I think
they better.
I don't think they have a choice. I think they're going to have to park him. I think that's going to be the least of NASCAR's problems right now is what they're going to do. They have to do something, and I don't think a monetary fine is going to do that. No. We've talked about it before from a race director's perspective and even from the announcing perspective. Regardless of the color of your skin, you become a number on that racetrack. And what we saw was not Bubba Wallace as a African-American driver come through and turn right and turn left into the Asian-American driver. What we saw was the number 45 claimed to have steering problems and right rear the number 5 car.
Had he, And again, we don't know. This is all alleged. And here's the difference, because I see people talking about with the Kenseth and all of that. Okay, yeah. That's the one you need to go back and look at. That's your precedent right there. The Kyle Busch at TMS. Yeah, that's the one you need to look at. I had people telling me about the William Byron and all these different ones. I'm like, okay, but there was never defined evidence to where you could say whatever happened, or where you could come to that conclusion. And that's where this is going to be drastically different. And I will gladly sit here on this show or any other show and eat crow if I'm proven wrong when they go back and the whole helicopter thing. They're going to go back in there and check the throttle. They already checked the throttle thing, but then they're going to go and they can check the steering thing. That's how smart this car is. We can talk about how this car sucks and all this, that, and the other. Well, they're going to go figure out if he hooked him.
Oh yeah, they'll be able to see that. They'll be able to see that.
They already know. And he already knows. And it really it does not matter. It does not matter. That is not what you do at those speeds. Had it not been, and that's where I thought that Kyle Larson was, I mean, you want to really talk about taking the high road, and if you want to get to this whole making somebody look bad, with his words after the race saying, with everything that's gone on and people hurt and head injuries and whatever he said, body limbs or whatever the way he said it, that right there was like, boom, boom. You just proved your point, son, and you just made him look totally like the bad guy, which I do think.
Well, then he kept, who was it? Stop fishing, because they want him to admit if he right reared him.
Yeah. I don't know, and it. I mean, it was obvious, and you just don't do that. I mean, I've done this a long time, and I know emotions get high, and I know all of that happens, but that's just not the way you're supposed to be doing it. Take notes, people. I mean, that's not what you do. We'll get back to that later on, but right now, for the first time tonight, let's go to the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline, and we are joined. Speaking of dudes that are rolling and guys that are doing really good stuff, we head to Waco, and we are talking to the man, Jeff Shepard. Mr. Shepard, how we doing, sir?
Good, sir. How are you doing?
Man, we're doing great, buddy. Thank you for taking the time and jumping on with us tonight. So dude, let's talk about just kind of in general for you the season, man. It's been one where you've been rolling. You've been rolling, man. That 17 Sport Mod's kicking some major ass.
We have been having a lot of fun here lately. Had a lot of hard racing, and just a lot of pick and choose where we go because of our son is in high school sports, and so we dedicate Friday night to take care of that stuff and do what we can on Saturday. So, but we have been having a lot of fun.
No doubt.
So, Jeff, when you pick and choose where you get to go, is there a track that you prefer more than the others? How do you determine which? Is it one that you think about competitively? Is it monetary? Is it you go for the camaraderie? What is it for you that helps you pick and choose the racetrack since you have the limited availability on Saturday nights?
Well, on Saturday, we have, of course, we go to Kennedale Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
We like it there. We like the people, the staff. Everyone's been, they're always super nice. I mean, you win a race there, and it seems like every fan there and every worker there, congratulates you. It's just really comforting, inviting environment there. It is one of the closest places to us. It's about an hour and 15 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
Big O Speedway is about the same, but really for a Saturday night, Cotton Bowl is 2 hours and 25 minutes from my house. And so Kennedale is really just the most feasible.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, I mean, it's really a really nice facility, and you really have great people there.
Yeah.
The racers and the fans and the owners and everybody that we talk to there. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, and kind of right there in line with that one. I'm because I've called some wins on Friday nights for you when you have been able to, and that's the funny thing. Everybody says everything changes when high school football starts, and obviously you're a great case right there. But just kind of along the same lines, right there with Kennedale, Heart of Texas has a 25th annual Fall Classic coming up. Talk about that place. You're pretty good there as well.
We are, yeah. We've won a couple of races there this year. We got our new carpet together kind of the time Friday night baseball season was over, and so we were able to go race a couple of nights at Heart of Texas on Friday before the football season stuff started. Got the car pretty much where we wanted to, went to Kennedale and lost the motor, and so with the help of great friends, sponsors, and stuff, we got another motor put in, but with this coming weekend, my son plays a home game here in town on Friday night, and so we're going to have our car there ready to go. Game's over. We will head to the track and tag the back of whatever's left, for us to get into to try to make it into tomorrow to Saturday night at Main.
Love that.
But we're very comfortable with Heart of Texas. We know the track for the most part, and adjustments, and so we feel very confident that we'll be fine doing that. But
Yep.
it will be a setback from everybody else that's there all night Friday.
Yep.
So
No doubt.
Well, let's talk about your car, man. It's been hooked up. It's been running really good. In fact, you have a really close relationship with some of the partners of our show, with Justin Long and the Generation Race Car folks over there. Talk about your car and how well that suits your driving style.
Man, Justin is really he we spoke a little bit in the off season last year about getting a car together and doing some stuff, and a couple of my really close sponsors decided that was what they wanted to do, and so we jumped into this thing feet first, with Justin. He's been over backwards for us as far as tech support, and we were a little stubborn at the beginning, doing things our own way, and they were good, but we've transitioned in a lot of the stuff that he wants to do, and it's proving to be better for us. And so being able to get, good feedback from him has been awesome. And then the people that help him have started helping us. And it's just, I said we lost a motor. So we got in with a Fletcher there for a little bit, and he's been helping with the motor that's in the car there. And, CRS has come aboard. I always use the 41 shocks, which I still love them today, and they're great. But, I think one's better here, the one's better there kind of deal. And so everybody is just open to helping when they can. Nobody's stepping on each other's toes. It's just a really neat deal, that Justin is helping us with.
Yeah,
so.
That's right. That's right. So Jeff, let's talk about, with the sport mods, the limited modifieds, whichever you want to call them. So there for a while, maybe kind of slipping a little bit, kind of car count wise. Factory stocks don't help. I mean, I know that's the latest and greatest where people want to be a part of that, but it really seems like with sport mods and so forth, man, it's top-notch competition, and to get out there, and I don't care, it's Kennedale, Heart of Texas, Cotton Bowl, or the tracks down south, the tracks up north, to get out there and be competitive and win races, it takes a lot of work, and you got to have your stuff together because you got some great drivers in that class.
Yes, sir. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like I said, wherever you're going, whatever track you're going to, there's going to be 5 or 6, 7, 8 guys that are super fast, very competitive, can win any night and anywhere they go. And so, of course there's a ton of work at the shop here, which I have some friends that help me a lot, and my family, of course, obviously support what we're doing, my wife, and I have one son left at home, and they'll all pitch in a little bit and help, and whether it just be moral support and going to the tracks and stuff, we're just trying to do this thing together. And like I say, the caliber of guys that are racing right now are great. Mm-hmm. It's evolving over the years. Obviously, there was a ton of good people came and went and things like that. But I just think that it's at pretty close to its best right now.
I agree.
So, Jeff, obviously the family support's great, and it's always good when you have that sturdy foundation behind you at the home life. But you've been racing a long time. How important is the camaraderie between the different racers, like helping to lend a helping hand and a motor here, a spring here, whatever the case may be? How important is that camaraderie for you after racing all these years?
It's very important to us, and like I said, we do have. At Heart of Texas, I have an open trailer. I feel like when I say that, if anybody can come borrow anything I have. I know there's, most everybody there, I would think, feel the same way about me. And then same way I go to Kennedale. I mean, for the show that we won down there the other night, their showdown, I had been a ball joint and thought I had another one in my trailer, and I dug all through it, couldn't find one, and I'm searching through the pits trying to find one. And I actually talked to Matt Gilliam. He goes, well, I got this one. I don't know if it'll work, but you can have it if it works. And we put it in and it worked. So, it's just one of those things that's racers are a different breed, I think, from a lot of other people in other sports where we're fierce competitors on the track, but off the track, everybody is pretty close to just like really good friends, and so I think it just goes hand in hand with the sport there.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because we were just talking about some of the NASCAR stuff with guys wanting to push and shove and doing all this stuff, but that really is the case with us as short track racers, because I've been there where something happens and we all know each other, and really you get done, you want to kick somebody's ass, but whether it be over a cold beer or a cheeseburger or a cup of coffee, whatever it is, we always seem to be able to work this stuff out. And isn't that really one of the best parts of this? Is it's like we can hate each other for about 10 minutes, but when we're done, we may not like each other, but we do love each other eventually.
Yeah, I do. I agree with that. We did pass the helmet the other night, at Kennedale for racers, people that you don't know, people that you never met, people that you never see, but they mean something to the sport, so that it means something to everybody, and this year alone, I've had some guys that I just didn't get along with. They didn't get along with me,
Yep.
Kind of come together here as, the last few weeks and just say, hey, whatever's happened. Let's move on and clean slate from here on out. And, it really feels good to get some of that stuff off your chest, just not to go to the track and worry about, that guy don't like me, or this guy don't like me, or I don't like him. It's easier to go knowing that everything is, on the level kind of deal. And just, I did couple, there was, I know, like I said, there was one guy this year that me and him did that, and it feels better.
Yeah, that's right. No, I know. So, I totally know. Yeah.
It's always much better when it works out in the end. Let's talk about dirt track racing as a whole, from your opinion, as somebody that's well versed in it. And it seems like there's a difference. We see a difference between the tracks up north Texas versus some of the tracks down South Texas. And it just seems like every once in a while you get a little bit of momentum built up, and it seems like shows get better and better and better. But what's the pulse of dirt track racing overall? Is it in a good place? Is there something that needs to be changed? Or am I just overthinking the whole situation about dirt track racing needing to get a shot in the arm?
I think dirt track racing is just like everything else in life. There's going to be highs and lows for individual teams, individual tracks, individual classes. We struggle, like our local track. We struggle with IMCA modifieds, obviously you go up north, well, there's 500. It seems like there's B mains every night, and you go to Kennedale on a Saturday night, and there's B mains in 3 or 4 classes, and you go to Heart of Texas, and there's 12 cars. But I think there's so much that goes on with that. Like you say, high school sports, kids in school. Travel time, I can't go to Boyd and race on Friday night, obviously, because it's
right 2
hours away and it's a Friday evening, so Heart of Texas is 3 minutes away from my house, so I can go there, and it's just, I think there's so many variables in dirt track racing that tracks working with each other on, especially like on these bigger shows and stuff like that, just, pre-planning, kind of doing that helps, but everybody leans toward the cost and the pay, and obviously it doesn't pay enough.
It never does.
It never has. It never will. Our cars cost a ton of money, and you go race for $400 a night, and I can look somebody dead in the face and say I can win on a Saturday night at Kennedale for $400, and I don't really even break even for the night.
Yeah.
Even if I don't tear up nothing. I take 2 trucks down there because I have a car, and you know, my wife and kids, they want a side by side to ride on, and so they're not walking through the pitch, you know, and so you're $200 worth of diesel right off the bat, you know, and I mean, but that's not the track's fault. That's not, you know, our sports problem. Could they all pay more? I'm sure they could, you know, but it's like everything else these days. I mean,
yeah.
And every sanctioning body, you know, everybody blames IMCA, everybody says USRA, everybody does this, that, and that. I really, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm thankful for places to race close by. And I mean,
yeah,
it is your choice to go race or not, you know, and so,
yeah,
I know everything needs a shot in the arm every now and then, you know, but
well,
to say who's right and wrong.
Yeah, and that really is the key. I mean, because we know when we get into this, and the more you're into it, you know. I mean, if you're doing this to become a millionaire, you're in the wrong sport. I don't give a damn what you're doing. But talk, I'm glad that you mentioned that. So talk about that, like with IMCA. I know there was a situation at Cotton Bowl this past weekend in your division with some of that. But I think that it's really cool that you do have that. To where, like, if I'd have been the tech man and that came up, I'd have been like, oh, shit, what do I do? But IMCA is the one that makes the call. Talk about the importance of that, because that's where I think for us on pavement, it sucks because we don't have that. But IMCA, USRA, I mean, that's really kind of the backbone, I think, that holds it all together.
Yes. And so, like, for instance, the thing that happened this week in Cotton Bowl, I was at Cotton Bowl, I didn't go race. I went and supported my son-in-law, run a street stock down there, and you know, we went down to watch, and same way. It was a 2-night show. I didn't really feel like I had a chance. So I went down there, watched the races. The guy who won drove an awesome race. Mm-hmm. And supposedly, you know, and this is hearsay from on my end because I wasn't there, but he queued for a spring rubber, which I know it does something. You know, I mean, I know it helps or hurts a little bit here and there, but to say if the man would have put a 15-pound spring or a 25-pound spring difference in his car, it would have been the same gain. He didn't gain a big edge by having that spring rubber. You know, he made a small adjustment versus made like a 12-pound adjustment versus a 25-pound adjustment, I guess, the way I look at it. But, you know, IMCA says rules are rules. The tricky part about rules, and I don't know for USRA because I'm not a member of that, but there's a lot of IMCA rules that are just not black and white. They're not published on paper for me to get a copy of. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, because I'm a firm believer of the rules. I love them. I want them to be enforced strictly and 100% of every track we go to. That's why I'm part of the IMCA deal, so I can go race 5, 6, 7 different tracks and never have to worry about my car. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you have certain tech men and you have certain places that do things different, you know, and I'm not saying they don't think they're right. I think they do think they're right, you know, and if it's not black and white where we can all see it, then it leaves room for what happened Saturday night. That's right. I was actually sitting in the stands by that guy's people, you know, and that's the only reason why I heard what happened almost instantly. And I don't know him, but I don't think that I mean, I won the race for him. Obviously, he was outstanding faster than everybody else there. So, you know, it's just a sad deal, but I mean, it's part of it. I have been on the other side of that. I've been DQ'd for stuff that I don't think is right, and you know, fought for it like they have been doing, but it's just sometimes, I mean, it's just the way it goes. You got to grit your teeth and
shit happens.
Move on to the next one.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
Yeah, I got a saying for that in racing. Some people say windshield or bug, and I say that in racing you're the toilet or the statue, because in racing you're always going to get shit on one way or the other.
That's true. That's true. I always use the hammer and the nail. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. That's right. And it just depends on, you know, how you want to look at it and how it turns out at the end. So,
let's talk about your son-in-law racing. Is it hard for you to sit back? I mean, do you go in with that father-in-law advice, kind of like our father-in-laws do on occasion? And well, I don't know if I do it that way, or maybe you want to double check that. I mean, is that the relationship you have with your son-in-law when it comes to racing?
I do. For a lot of it, we, you know, now he's right. He dropped the car for somebody else. He's got a really good deal. He drives a car, and he's actually going to be in a sport mod this next year again. And so when he drives with somebody else, I try to stay out and kind of mind my own business as much as I can, but he still comes to me every Friday night, or every Saturday, and he'll say stuff, but he's gotten so much better. He's smart, and he's conservative with stuff, and he just, I don't never tell him, but he's getting really good, and so he now he's got hopes and dreams of beating me next year, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how
It's happened before one time for him, so I can't say it will never happen, but we're gonna race as hard as anybody else does.
That's right. To be determined.
Yes.
Lastly, man, I want to ask you, because I applaud you, because I know it is so hard where you talk about with Friday night football and so forth and all of that. I mean, the kids, it is so easy for folks to just put that to the side. And one of the things with racers, when they talk after they quit, it's like, man, I missed a lot of football games. I missed a lot of dances. I missed a lot of basketball games. I missed all that stuff. It sounds like for you, it's a pretty damn clear-cut decision that comes first. When racing is, when you can, that's when you do it.
It does. So I have my youngest son is 17 years old, fixing to be 18, fixing to graduate. But I have two daughters that were older. They were not involved in school sports. Yeah. They never wanted to. We tried, they just didn't want to. And so it never became a problem. I've raced basically every night since 2001. With never issues. I've had issues the last 3-4 years now because my son has started as a varsity player in football since his freshman year, and so this is the only time I've had issues, and I have, I chose to do that over racing because it is what's most important. Right. My family's my biggest supporter, and so I want to be their biggest supporter at whatever they're doing, and. My wife would I say she'd kill me. She would not be very happy if I missed my son's football game to go racing. Even though this weekend they have said, these last couple of Friday night races, that I could, but deep down inside, I would much rather be there at the football game. Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff.
Senior year, he's got 3 more to go.
That's so what school? Because that's one of my other lives is football broadcaster, high school football, whatever. So what school are we talking about here?
So he plays at Conley High School here in Waco.
Nice. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I graduated from that school. Both of my daughters graduated from that school. So he is set to graduate this year from Conley, and they have an excellent athletic program, and he loves it. He's ate up with it, and we may go back to racing. He gave up racing for sports also. He raced his most of his life too. Yeah. But
he'll be back.
It just got to be.
He'll be back.
Yeah, it got to be more than what he wanted to deal with. He wanted to focus on school and sports, and that's the smartest decision he could have made. So
absolutely,
we did that.
So what's left? Obviously, this weekend there with the Fall Classic. What else are you trying to hit this year as we get to big race season?
I really think that's pretty close to it. Okay. I have we're going to take our car we have a little museum here out in Axtell, Texas.
Love it.
Racers Museum that we're going to debut our car over there and let people come check it out in early December, I think the 4th. But as far as racing, I'm pretty close to thinking this is pretty much the last thing we're going to do for this year. And we have some plans in our shop to build a couple of cars, some street stock cars and some other stuff. And I'm kind of taking on more work with helping other racers out, sheet metal work and things like that. And I want to get this car back and have Justin, kind of help me get it just cleaned up and ready to go for next year. Yep. We're gonna try to race a lot harder next year because we're gonna have we won't have Friday night football.
Some time off.
So we're gonna have some time off from sports, so we're gonna have some more racing.
Love it.
More racing time.
Love it, man. I tell you what, you make the most of every time that you get out there, and it's been a blast to watch you. And congratulations on the weekend and a good year, man. A really good year, and looking forward to talking to you more soon and more wins for you, brother. Congratulations on a good season.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate y'all. Thank y'all, and we'll love to catch up next time.
Absolutely. Take care, my friend.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. There he is, Jeff Shepard. And I got to tell you, man, that is so – racers, think about that. Think about that. I mean, that's this thing right here. I mean, you get to a certain point in life, and, I mean, I think we all aspire to be I don't care what you say, guys. You aspire to be on the Cup Series because that's the top thing. But pretty cool right there. I love what he's doing. That's really cool.
It's a good plan he's got in terms of trying to keeping the household clean because we all know the happy spouse runs the house, so that's a good thing. And I think the priorities are in line. I think that part of it for him is that if the son gave up racing for football, that shows how important the football stuff is to the son, right? And I think that creates a different kind of bond. Obviously, there's a different bond where you have it on the racetrack and have racing to look at, but then you have the football bond. You see it every Friday night, so there's a little different bond there. But that's just crazy to think that they gave up the football to be 3 minutes away from Heart of Texas Speedway to have to go race at Kennedale there on Saturday. So that's that's dedication right there.
Yeah, and the thing is, folks, when you think about that, I mean, because seriously, I know like with football, I mean, you got 10 weeks. I mean, you got 10 weeks, and having had a very long football career in school, I mean, from Pop Warner all the way up. I mean, you look at that season and you don't realize it till you get to become a junior or a senior, and it's like, man, this is all I got left. And then you get to be a senior, and it's like, I got 10 times. If I'm lucky, I get 11, 12, whatever it may be. So I love that. Super cool stuff right there. Hey, folks, good stuff from Jeff Shepard. Y'all hang around because coming up, we're going to talk to a young man that dazzled him over in Houston this past weekend. It'll be Drew Simmental checking in on the hotline. Stick around.
Have you heard about the latest and greatest technology being built around the DFW area? Generation Race Cars and JL Racing, located in Springtown, Texas, are now offering top-of-the-line, state-of-the-art Southern Sport mods and limited modifieds. Generation Race Cars and JL Racing can provide new cars, turnkey, complete bodies, shock revalving, and chassis updates, along with providing trackside setup guidance and a whole lot more. If you're looking at competing at a whole new level, call 817-528-2947 and ask for Justin today. You can contact them through the JL Racing Facebook page to learn more about Generation Race Cars. You put a ton of effort into your race program. Now take it to victory lane with GRC.
Hey everybody, Rodney Rodriguez for CRS Suspension. Are you ready to take your racing program into victory lane? Well, if you are, then it's time to call CRS Suspension, the industry leader in handling technology. CRS now solely owned by winning iStock and late model racer Jeffrey Abbey, whose knowledge can do big things for your oval track success. Give CRS Suspension and Fabrication a call today at 325-330-0647 and learn how you can get the shocks and technical guidance that will put you into the winner's circle. You either have CRS shocks under your car or you get outrun by those who do. Choose to win and call CRS Suspension today and follow them on Facebook at CRS Suspension Fabrication.
Hi, this is Tom McKay with Audiovisual Consultations. Scientific data proves it. Size does matter. The bigger and wider your television is, the better. Football season is here, and the time is now to get your entire audio-video experience tuned up and ready. New flat screens, projection video, Dolby True HD Surround, all the goodies at great prices and followed up with great service. So call us at 255-8678, that's 255-8678, or on the web at avconsultations.com.
guys. Hashtag Real Race Talk. Showtime, Bobby Chaffee, Rodney Rodriguez on a Monday. Hashtag Real. Oh, I already said that. The Revved Up Sports Show. Got thrown off here. We had a couple of visitors over here throwing the vibe off. Great conversation there with Jeff Shepard as he talks to us about his really good season and great stories there. And I love how he kind of touched there a little bit about what happened there with the Jared Moppet situation. That's a tricky one, man. That's a very tricky one.
And it depends on what side of the fence you're on, right? Half the people think you're right and half the people think you're wrong.
Yeah.
And it really has been on social media. It's been really that way. Like half the people that we've seen, obviously I wasn't there at Oktoberfest, so I don't know the exact, I've heard the same thing that everybody else has, a question about the spring rubber put in there or not. And half the people on social media said it shouldn't have been a DQ. And the other half the people said, yeah, it should have been a DQ. So I'm not sure, dude. I don't know one way or the other. I'm not the tech guy. I'm glad I had to make that call.
And here's the other part of it, guys. Quit saying, good job, Cotton Bowl. That ain't on them. That's the beauty of that. When there is a question, when something is found, and as he said, it's not in the rules. Mm-hmm. So that's what you do. I mean, you dial up the old telephone, and that's why they have people on standby waiting. It's like, we want your calls. Like phone lines are open. IMCA phone line is open.
Yeah.
They made the call. Don't beat up the racetrack. That ain't on them. That ain't on them.
Yeah, I mean, the question may come from the tech man, but that was indeed an IMCA call, so that becomes. I mean, that's not. The track is in no fault. That's the problem with being a track, right? If you let it slide, then half the people are going to say, well, you don't enforce the rules, and then if you sit there and you let it, and it becomes a DQ. Then it's like, the track, DQs for dumbass reasons or whatever. The track never wins in a situation like this. The track doesn't want to be in that position as much as nobody else wants to be in that position either. So it's, Cotton Bowl does a lot of things right. Do they do occasionally wrong things? Yeah, every track does.
And I can tell you that tech man in question is going to read the rules and call them as they're written. I mean, gray or not. I mean, if he sees something that shouldn't be there, that's the call he's going to make.
I've seen him be DQ'd people over paper air filters.
I've been DQ'd for shit that I think he's totally wrong, but that's another story. That's why we need to get him a bottle of whiskey and have that conversation. But
he'll never do it.
Ah, shit! You watch me. And him, Miller Lite is what we need.
That's what we need.
Jack Sanders, who we're talking about. All right, let's go back to the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline, powered by Computer Age Automotive. One of our good buddies right here, and ironically powered by Computer Age Automotive. This is a dude who happens to drive a Computer Age Automotive race truck. And he was outstanding this past weekend in Houghton. It is big. Drew Simmental. Brother Drew, how we doing, man?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Don't call me sir.
Oh, he dropped the sir right off the bat.
Drew, don't be nervous, dude. Drew, don't be nervous. You're not talking to Dave Moody here. you're talking to me. No, just giving you shit. Man, what a run. What a run. Talk about the weekend, man, leading up to the race. You guys were thrashing away right there. And, man, just another great ride for the 37 truck.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we had a good practice Friday. And then Saturday, we didn't make too many changes going to practice and qualifying. Qualified second, like 2/10 off. I think it was a less than 2/10 off Jake. And then we drew the 4 on the invert, which wasn't ideal. But it is what it is. I think inverts are fun, so I'm not opposed. We didn't. On the first start, I accidentally unplugged my earphones. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I had Bill Kruger in my. Well, I guess not in the start. I didn't have in my ear. Kind of got freight trained on the outside. And then we just worked our way back up, got in second, and it was a good weekend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, Drew, talk about your progression here. Obviously, you started in quarter midgets, moved up to dwarf cars, into some legacy cars, and now you got the full-size experience there in the trucks. Have you been able? Has that path? I mean, obviously, it's the path you took, so it's the best path for you. But taking that progression up to the full-size stuff from the quarter midgets and on up, has that been the best way you think to have honed your craft?
I think it was really good. I think quarter midgets is probably like one of the best ways to start as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you can start at 5. I started at 7, and I raced that for I think until I was like 14 or 15. Got in the dwarf, had a lot of fun there, learned a lot there. And then eventually got the legacy when dwarfs couldn't race on asphalt anymore. And I think driving the legacy and the dwarf is like kind of put me into a good position with the trucks. I think it's like both those cars, like you learn things from them, and I can apply both of them to the trucks. So I think it was like all a good transition, all the classes I drove.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. And Drew, I'd love to ask you about that. I mean, simply because, and you and I have talked about this in the past. Let's talk about those dwarf days. I know I didn't bring this up when you were on the other show, but man, weren't those? I mean, because like for a young guy coming in like you were at that point, fresh out of the quarter midgets and what you had done at that point, you get in and you're racing with a bunch of older dudes that. Man, you came in, you made a statement, but that really was, man, that was some of the best racing that I, in my opinion, that I have ever been a part of.
I agree. Like, I think that whenever racing at Kyle and the dwarfs was like the most fun I've ever had racing, and probably will ever have. But I'm so optimistic. I believe in the trucks. I think they can still be fun. But coming out of quarter midgets, I think, and going to the dwarfs taught me like how to be racy with everyone, because I think most of the guys in that, like you said, they were older.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone like treat each other well, race each other good, and then I think like I've been able to translate all that racing experience into the legacies and dwarfs. So.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about the difference between racing in Houston and Mobile. I mean, two completely different animals. You seem to have adapted to both of them fairly well, fairly quickly. How much do you change your driving style between racing at Mobile and racing at Houston? Is it a little more throttle control there at Houston and just wide open there at Mobile? Or what do you have to do inside that cockpit to change between the two tracks?
Yeah, Houston, you have to be like a lot more precise. The track is so much smaller. You're getting on the brakes, getting on the gas, you have to be like super precise. Whereas in Mobile, it's just like balls out pretty much like the whole time. Also, same thing with Houston, since it's so much smaller, it's a lot more racy. Like I've been both races so far in Houston with the trucks, I've been racing for like 50% of the like race just with people. Whereas in Mobile, a lot of it was just kind of following the leader and trying to get down good laps. So I think Houston suits me better because I'm not really that good of a lap setter, but I think I'm better at the racing part.
Yeah.
Probably because of dwarfs and having learned it all from there.
Yeah. So Drew, back to the Saturday race, and we're kind of running some film there of that from Race on Texas. So talk about the end of that, the race. Man, you played that so smart. I mean, you sat, you waited, and then once you saw the opportunity, that's when you really dove in. And that 37 truck, man, it was surging at the end of that race.
Yeah, the truck got really good at the end. I'll be honest, I had Bill Kruger in my ear, and he kind of just told me what to do, and I just did it, and then we were in second place. It was like he literally told me everything what to do, and I just did everything, and then all of a sudden I'm in second place from 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brain was kind of off. I was just turning left, and he was telling me what to do. It was crazy.
I love it.
It all worked out like so perfect. Obviously, I wanted to win, but Jake, truck goat, kind of difficult to get him.
No doubt.
Yeah.
The showstopper is hard to catch, right? Everybody knows the nickname because it's written across the back window there. In terms of Bill Kruger, man, you said you listened to him and he did everything that you wanted. How important is that to have a good, solid relationship between driver and spotter, especially at a place where everything happens so fast like Houston?
I think it's super important. Like in my previous races, I had Ryan Stoy and I had my sister, and they both had never spotted before. I still think they kept me out of trouble, like in both races. They told me everything I needed to know, and I thought they did a great job. But Bill, he on every restart, he told me what to do, and I'm listening to him, and then all of a sudden I'm in moving positions on every single restart, moving up. And then when I'm racing with people, he's telling me everything, what to do. And then whenever I'm just solo by myself trying to get a good lap, he's like critiquing my line and make me try to have the best line as possible. And I think all of that, like all the information he's telling me, it was just so good.
Drew, I got to ask you, man. So when you had Ryan, I mean, when I saw that Ryan was your spotter, I'm like, holy smoke! I mean, that dude, as jacked up as he gets. were you ever in the truck and being like, were you ever trying to calm his ass down? Be like, calm down. Was that ever? Did you ever flip the roles on him with that?
No, never. He just flipped the switch during like when he was spotting for me. Everything he was saying was like super clear, super cohesive, and he was calm. He was telling me all the information I needed to I needed. He did great at every single race out in Alabama. He did a great job. So I was kind of concerned too my first race. He has a lot of racing knowledge, but he's an aggressive fella,
Well, that's what I was wondering. that's.
But he doesn't.
I'm sorry,
he would tell me all this information, and it just worked out good with Ryan as well.
No doubt.
Now you didn't throw your sister under the bus, right? That could make for a really upcoming Thanksgiving.
I ain't bringing that up.
Yeah, right. I mean, did you throw your sister under the bus on that deal? Or you're like, it's okay, we were fine, we didn't get into any trouble.
I mean, that's the only race I haven't finished.
Oh!
I was
There it is.
No, that was completely out of her control. I thought Clea actually did so good. Because we were the last race of the night on the first race.
Yeah. Yep.
We watched every single race, and I just told her everything I wanted her to do in spotting, and she did it perfectly. Because I went to the back, right? Because I got crashed.
Yeah.
And for pretty much the whole race, I was side by side, or like right on someone, and she was telling me all the information. She did actually a great job. The crashes were completely out of her control.
So I have good news and bad news for you. The good news is that she may or may not be listening and watching right now. The exceptionally good news for you is that you covered everything precise and very well, so I don't think you'll be in trouble at Thanksgiving.
So Drew, I mean, I do want to. I mean, I know, and a lot of people know, but I mean, let's talk about y'all's team. I mean, with you and Gil and Gino and Sarah, and I mean, you guys are like my family. There's blended families in there and all of that, but I mean, the main thing is you guys have always been. It's all about family support, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter how many damn families. And I just think that's so cool with what you guys do. It's all about the racing, all about family fun, and just getting out there and doing the best you can.
Yeah, I'm so lucky and so grateful for all the people behind me. My dad, he works his butt off to get me a fast truck. My grandpa does the same. And then the rest of my family, it's so much better in Houston because in Alabama, a lot of them couldn't come because
sure.
Forever. But having everyone there in Houston is awesome. I'm so happy, every single race, because we had 15 people in our pit, or maybe a little less than 15, all helping, supporting, and all just family. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be good having the sponsors close by too. I know there was a couple of pictures on Facebook that had a couple of sponsors with big old smiles on their face. That happens when you run second and run good and don't tear up the equipment. How cool is that camaraderie that you have with some of your sponsors? Because it had to be a hard sell for them to still stay on board when you were running in Alabama. So it's got to be considerably easier now that you're running in the same state.
Yeah. Even though when Houston had initially gotten canceled, they didn't care. They were still supporting. And then luckily Spurs got made and John and Dean got a deal done. And now, I had Chris come out. He's my Northlake sponsor. He came out. I know two of my other big sponsors were trying to come out as well, but they've been busy. But yeah, they've been great supporting us. And yeah, I'm very grateful for all of them.
Yeah, no doubt. Drew, walk me through that last restart, because I try to be very descriptive when I'm calling these races about what's going to happen or whatever. But man, when you guys powered out, and obviously you had Jake next to you, but dude, I got to tell you, I was so impressed with your patience and your prowess. Man, I thought you were going to drag race him and get that whole shot restart on him, man. Take me through that, because that was so impressive to see you do that.
Yeah. So yeah, we were P3 going into the cone. Jake and Jim Teague chose the bottom. So we already knew that we wanted the top no matter what. Actually, I guess Jim took the bottom, but we didn't think Jim was going to take the bottom. And I'm not trying to be cocky, but I think I'm kind of good on the outside. And I think that's fun.
No doubt.
And I've been getting good starts all night. And so going into that, we knew that we maybe had a chance on the outside against Jake. And they threw the green. I was probably like 75% past Jake.
Yeah.
But definitely not enough to close anything. That would have just been terrible. But I tried to race him on the outside for like a lap or two, but he caught back up, and I tried getting behind him in hopes that I could get an opportunity to pass him, but he just kind of ran away after that. But still successful, I think.
No doubt.
No, it's a good night for you. And also, another Hollywood star is watching and listening tonight too. Mike Knott's checking in from Cozumel. Talk about the legacy stuff, man. Those cars seem like they are a blast to drive. Power to weight ratio seems like it would be a challenge, especially there at Mobile and then there at Houston. Talk about racing those cars.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun last year and halfway through 2020 when I got to Legacy. All the people that race those, it's like dwarfs. Mm-hmm. Everyone is so chill, and everyone races each other clean. Yeah, I think, and then the thing is, those things in Mobile, they get, I have never driven anything that fast on a racetrack, and those were a blast out in Mobile. Same thing in Houston, they weren't as fast, but the racing was super good, in a great community.
Yeah,
I miss racing with those guys.
I'm sure, man, because I know from the dwarf days. I mean, that was one of the best things that I loved about it was we were just, and I don't want to be like, with the trucks, it's more cutthroat, whatever, but there's a lot more aggression. There's a lot more money. It's a different environment. It's a whole different thing. You got to miss kind of that, the quarter midget dwarf legacy thing. Cause that's what that was. That's just family. That's just, you're all family, whether you're related or not.
Yeah, I do miss that. We made a few friends in the truck series, so it's still kind of there a little bit, but it won't compare to the dwarf or legacy or quarter midget families that I had in my previous classes. But yeah, I do.
Drew,
I do try to miss
Drew,
that.
take this advice from an old man. The more that you run the way you're running, you're going to not have that many friends in the truck. They're not going to want to be friends. They are not going to want to be friends. I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you shit.
Just learn how to have fun in the Holiday Inn parking lot. That'll go a long way towards mending fences.
Well, Gino and Sarah and Gil, that's what they're there for. So Drew doesn't need to be doing that right now. He needs to keep a clean head. Neither does Kalia. She needs to be selling commercial real estate. So what's left for you guys, man? Rest of the year, obviously finishing out Houston. Any thoughts beyond that for you guys?
No, we might make the next Houston race. We definitely aren't going to do snowball this year. We're going to go out and watch the races and see how it is because we've gotten a lot of recommendations. That's kind of.
It's a good way to do it.
I don't want my truck to get tore up. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. But we'll go scout this year and then we'll think about some stuff next year for snowball. But yeah, I think all we got left is maybe this Houston race. Still not sure, but yeah.
The truck race in Pensacola during the Snowball Derby is a little rough.
Yeah,
it definitely it's not that you can't handle it, but it is definitely challenge on equipment and pocket butts for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. That's
Yep.
not.
Hey, and Drew, you just got to check in. The truck goat that you said, he just checked in, said he's proud of you, man, and we all are, because that was a hell of a run. That was a great run, and man, you guys are doing a great job. And like I said, man, you guys are some of my favorite people. So when you get out there and do what you did this past weekend, it's always fun, and I appreciate you jumping on here, taking the time. And when y'all are scouting out in Pensacola, let me know, because I'll be out there scouting stuff too, and we can scout over a beer or two. Not you, but the other people on your team.
I'm 22.
Oh, what?
I'm not
Damn, you're that old
to be anymore.
Oh my God! I'm sorry, Drew, man. I'm
23 next week.
I still see you as such a young guy out there just whipping my ass at the CTS. So okay, well, we'll scout over a beer, buddy.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Man. Thanks for taking the time, man. Proud of you. We'll talk soon.
No, thanks, John.
You got take
Bye.
care. Drew Simmental. I tell you, you know, all this gray beard and all that. I think the receding hairline, all of that. Boom, there it is again. I mean, I remember when he was just a little dude, just a little guy in a dwarf car beating a bunch of old ass men. Wow.
He did. He used to school y'all in that dwarf car.
Yeah, he did, man. He was so good. He was really so good. I mean, that 2016 year of dwarf car racing, that and that really was a year that we did South Texas Speedway and Kyle and CC Speedway. I mean, that was so cool, because that was some of the, like I said, I mean, that was some of the best racing that I've ever been a part of, and everybody was so good. That was a great time, and Drew really was the one. That was. Man, should have won the championship that year. Should have won the championship that year. I hated passing him on that last lap at Kyle. God damn it. I may have cost him that championship.
I got nothing.
He broke the clutch. That's the only reason I got by him. That's the only reason that I got by him. But good stuff, man. I really enjoyed that. And he did. He had a great run. And that's the thing with them, with Gil and Gino and all of them. They're jumping in, and I mean, it's a limited budget. I mean, it's a limited budget, and they've jumped in and ran extremely well at 2 racetracks in different parts of the country.
Yeah, the program has done very well for where it started. I mean, you talk about 2 different animals. You got Mobile wide open, and then you got the little racy joint. It's crazy that there's enough racing in Mobile that you can now call Houston the Bull Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's got a lot of characteristics of a bigger racetrack, with the dog leg on the backstretch. I mean, and it's pretty fast and wide open over there too. But comparatively to Mobile, not a lot.
Mm-hmm. And that really is a lot of that. I mean, because like I've talked about, I mean, for a lot of the racers, when you talk about them coming to Texas, Jerry Goff actually has been one that came here and raced in the $10,000 race the last time that we had it, or that they had it, and he told me, he said, my driving style, everything changed when I came and I ran the small track. And I mean, the dude's been rolling along the Gulf Coast. I mean, he's dominated over at MIS, and I think that's just proof in the pudding right there, to where that little track. But going back to that's where a lot of the guys that race the half miles, they're like, I don't want to go run a small track, and I totally get that. And they don't,
or vice versa. Some of the guys don't want to run the big track either.
They don't want to do that, and a lot of that is, you know, for the guys over there that don't want to come here, it's like they have options there. And I know a lot of folks are like, well, why don't those guys come here? They don't have to. They've got places over there.
If they want to run a quarter mile or a 3/4 mile, there's places over there to do that.
That's right. That's exactly right. Hey, we've got the 2022 Revved Up Sports Show Race on Texas Short Track Driver of the Year announcement. That's coming up here in a couple of minutes, as we will talk to our man, our favorite Yankee, Phil Whipple. He'll be checking in just a minute. But if you missed it yesterday, I kind of alluded there a little bit about the old Chandler Smith situation happening at Winchester. Stephen Nasse, he wins the final race, the final Blizzard Series race at Pensacola, and he wins the 400 over Sammy Smith, William Sawalis, Jake Garcia, Casey Roderick, and gotta like the chances here of Mr. Nasty going into this snowball. It's been a year where I think he's kind of taken a little bit of a step back, but man, he's like we talk about football and baseball and all that. He's peaking. He's peaking when it's go time.
One of only 2 cars on the lead lap apparently from that race, and recovered from 2 flat tires. I mean, that's pretty crazy. The highlights that I saw at first was he slowing down because of the flat tires, and then kind of checked again, and lo and behold, he won the damn thing. So. I think that as long as Stephen Nasty doesn't pull any Stephen Nasty stuff at the Derby, he's going to be fairly good to come in with a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, I got to tell you with Nasty, I mean, it does kind of seem like to me that he's in a different place. I think he's in a different place to where now he's more the classy. He's more the classy. And but of course that's where you get into when we get to snowball, and depending who the other players are going to be in that, and I think I've seen up around 40 right now, and that's totally great. I mean,
It'll be more than that.
Yeah, there's some folks frowning on it. Wow, it's not 80 anymore. Well, I mean, no, it's not. I mean, look at your local short track. It's not what it used to be before. But I think that with that happening, I think that Stephen Nasty's kind of in a place right now where I think it's going to come full circle to where it could come back to Nasty and Bubba Pollard again. And they are both at different places in their career. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen if it does come down to these 2 guys.
Well, I think it will be interesting to see. They're both at different places in their careers in terms of kind of the way that their programs are going. But I think that the road to the Derby this year is going to go through the 26 and the 51 without a shadow of a doubt. Obviously, Bubba last year didn't have the year he wanted, switched programs, went back to Port City, got his stuff back on track now. And now you've got Nasty in there with the momentum coming in. I mean, those 2 guys, they both run well at Pensacola. They both have Derby experience. So I think that it's going to be, I almost want to say this year, I wonder how Derek Thorne is going to do if he comes down and runs after the domination that he's had the last couple of years, only to be moved out of the way with a couple of laps to go. We saw him take retaliation in that Blizzard Series race there, the doubleheader that one night there with Smith. So his aggression level is a little higher than it is on the West Coast, but I think that it is a different driving style there for the Derby. We talk to them all the time, all over the country, and they do say when they come down to Pensacola, come down south, it is slightly rougher than what it is where they're used to be running at home.
Yeah, and the other part of that is that and I mean, it goes without saying, I mean, the best team that we have watched in super late model racing this year has been Donnie Wilson Motorsports. And when it comes down to that, I mean, they're going to be the ones that are going to be, at the top of the heap. But where the Snowball Derby is different is that, it's a tire grinder. I mean, we talk about it all the time, to where this place eats up those Hoosier tires. That's going to happen. And for whatever reason, whether it be, the different tracks that they race at, that race is just one where it's a different animal. I mean, it's not the endurance that we saw yesterday. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah, totally different. It's just wide open for 300 laps.
Right. And the build up into that, and we've watched it in the last couple of years to where the Snowball Derby, it really is that you get in there and you may run 60 to 80 laps, green flag, before you get the first caution, and then boom, here they come. And I really think it's going to be, but I do think that it's going to be old school. I think it goes between Nasty and Pollard, and they're going to be the ones, like you mentioned, they're in different places right now. But there's the outliers. I mean, Casey Roderick, we hadn't seen him, run a lot, and boom, here he is. He shows up at the 400 and gets 5th. Yeah. So it's going to be great, and I cannot wait to get
that team. There. Former Snowball Derby champions,
absolutely. They know what they're doing. All right, let's get ready. It's the time that we do a lot of cool things here with our media partners over at Race on Texas, and our man Phil Whipple is the one that kind of brings the whole thing together, because we make it a very obvious point for Bobby and I and Chris and everybody between the 2 outlets to stay out of, whether it be promoter of the year, racer of the year, touring driver of the year. We stay out of that because it's not about, we only see bits and pieces. It's guys like Phil and committees that he has in place that go in and crunch numbers and really look at the big picture, and they do a great job of it. I would not want that job because, for one thing, I don't have that attention span. But on the Lone Star Speed Zone hotline, it is our man checking in from up north. First and foremost, my man Phil Whipple. How is the temperature out your way?
No, good evening, gentlemen. So nice to be back with you again. It's pretty mild still, brother. Still 52. Yeah, 52 degrees, and we're going to have another decent day tomorrow, I think. Going to get some wicked storms coming through tonight, Mr. Rodriguez, and then they're going to see temperatures start to drop back to more seasonable levels. I don't think we're going to see the snow that Wisconsin and Minnesota is going to get this week, man. It's piling up in the Upper Peninsula. Don't think quite that extreme is going to hit northern New England just yet, but I'm fine with that, boys.
I love it.
Hell, it's going to be 49 here, and we're all going to freeze to death.
Well, I really feel terrible for you, to which I say, nanner at this time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Guys, I am so excited because, as you know, you saw a little video, I suspect, that I put up on Saturday. We were fortunate enough to get some fantastic weather for the past North race of the year up here at Oxford Plains Speedway. And, boy, what a wonderful afternoon we had. And who'd have thought a couple of years ago, a young man up in Pittsfield, Maine, named Max Cookson, sitting in a video game thinking about really getting into real race cars. And then he climbs into, he spends a half a season, I guess, in 2020 in a past mod, gets his feet wet, and does fairly well, decides he likes the sport. So what's he do in 2021? Goes out and wins the past mod championship. Thinks, boy, this is pretty fun. This is a little easier than I thought after playing in video games. So I guess I'll go SLM racing in 2022. Wins the Oxford Points Championship, and I'll be a son of a gun. I'm so glad I was up this Saturday because Max Cookson was your feature winner, first past North victory at Oxford Saturday when in the Spencer Paving Group LLC 150. What a season that young man had, guys. Wasn't that amazing to see what Max accomplished?
I'll tell you, it really is to see that happen. And I mean, talk about that. We talk about the 250 and all the, thanks to you, we've become a part of that with you, with all of your work that you're doing here with us and bringing us into that northern scene right there where folks actually know what the hell the Revved Up Sports Show is. But I mean, to win a championship and to win it there, I mean, that's one of those things where it's a very, very small list of people that can actually say, hey, I've won a championship at Oxford. But the prestige of that, Phil, that is a big-ass deal.
It is, because we've always said, I guess what I've learned down in your turf, if you can win a points title like Waco or Kennedale, man, you're the man. Well, up here, for years and years and years, you can win a championship at Oxford Plains Speedway. You've kind of proved your worth. You've really proved your mettle, if you will, as a weekly racer. Why? Because that's where the competition is. Always has been. Right. For over the years, the old Getty Open Series, the old BGNN days with the Irish Angel McCabe and all them guys going at it. Leland Kangas, Mike Rowe. It goes on and on. There's legends from every decade at Oxford, and people strive to be just win a feature in the Premier Division at Oxford, much less put together a points championship. And for young Max to do that in his first full season of SLM with healthy car counts here each and every week, I not trying to rub in the status, the healthiness we have of this asphalt culture up here, but you guys have seen it, and I've just presented it to you, and it is thick. It's thick with talent up here, and so really for the young man, a lot to do with his focus, his ability to focus when he's behind the wheel. And that distance chassis for years now, for probably a decade now, Jeff Taylor's distance chassis up out of Fairfield, Maine, they've had the dominant cars in SLM at Oxford, and they got a really new one and a really nice one, and boy, they got the right guy turning wrenches on. Max is number 39, and the kid had to put the successful season together. And as I say, we got to get to our subject at hand this evening. Of course, I'm equally as excited about this announcement I'm making with you gentlemen tonight as I am about what I just witnessed. But to sum up, boy, it was a heck of a season up here at OPS and Pass North. Just one Pass North race remains in 2 weeks at the Waterford Speed Bowl down in Connecticut, and going to be interesting to see how your man Ryan Toon shakes out. I think that point gap is closing, and I did commit to Ryan. I said he sews up that Pass North deal. You boys would probably like to speak to him again, and I hope that's all right.
You damn right. You damn right, my friend.
Thank you.
I will. How about it, Phil? Give us this breaking news we've been waiting for all day. I think you know, and I think Rodney knows. Even I don't know who the driver of the year is going to be this year.
Thank you, Bobby, and again, so good to speak with you guys. Last year we went to North Texas for our recipient. You remember at a Famousville, Mr. Matthew Day.
That's right.
Recognizing the amazing season Matthew had in IMCA Southern Sport Mod last year. I believe he won the national title in IMCA National Points. He just won all kinds of racing. Consistency was really amazing. And I looked all over the state, crunching numbers on this weekly deal. I don't quite have, I'm going to throw out a couple names quickly in a few minutes, who I'm considering for touring series. I'm a couple weeks off from the hard deal on touring circuit. But weekly is put to bed, and so man, there was a bunch of guys in weekly around the great state of Texas that put out wicked numbers. And I know everybody's going to say, Whipple, I hope you were considering this guy. And at the top of my list of among others who were considered is Mr. Rowdy Day. That guy, Rowdy Day, what a season he had. Rowdy's knocked out 43 starts already, 18 wins, 28 top fives, and 29 top tens. Damn. Of course, I considered Rowdy Day. He's a friend of mine. He's a heck of a racer. Also took a look at the season Mr. Jarrett Bransom had in North Texas this year. That young man raced 82 times already this year. Put together 9 wins, 48 top fives, and I think 73 top tens out of them 82 races. In other words, Jarrett was Mr. Active and Mr. Consistency. If I didn't recognize him here verbally, I'd be really remiss. And, of course, another North Texas talent, the driver of the 98 factory stock, Mr. Chris Davis. You know, year after you got an idea I'm going to be considering him year after year after year, because Davis and Donnie Gosnell and those guys put together another fabulous team on the 98 team. Chris ran 37 races, had 18 victories, 28 top fives, and 32 top tens this year. And that guy's always solid. And a guy that a young gentleman that, they're beginning to know his name nationally now pretty well. And anything he jumps in, I call him Mr. Versatility, not unlike Memphis Villarreal, or maybe on an even higher level, both super speedway and short track. Of course, we considered Caden Honeycutt this year. You know, Caden's been in a bunch of different cars. The 54 factory stock and all kinds of stuff. And you just a quick look at Caden's numbers: 31 starts and 14 feature wins. He's had 20 top 10, 17 top 5s. Caden is always a threat and always consistent. So I'm telling you, those are some of the top guys out of all the ones I considered. But we'll jump right to our winner in the weekly category, because this young man, we're lucky enough to have him come on here in just a few minutes, and he's going to tell you how all this came together personally. And I don't really know how he pulled it off. But this young man, this year's recipient of the Texas Short Track Driver of the Year, presented by the Revved Up Sports Show and Race on Texas, in your weekly category, this young man raced 66 times, and he managed to put together 27 feature wins, 57 top fives, and he's racked up 61 top tens. That's all but 5 times. Simple math, in the top 10 of the races he's been in. And as he'll tell you, he didn't even know who he was going to drive for this year. So the man has just redeemed it, turned it around. Your recipient this year is Mr. Jared Maupin, and I say a sincere congratulations to Jared. He did the work, man, put it in the work and the time and the effort. And I know Bobby was with him too, and man, Jamie Fuller, and boy, what a season that man had. I hope you gentlemen, I know you guys both have witnessed what Jared has accomplished here, and I hope you boys think we got it right.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's a good award. He's definitely one of the most highly respected racers that we have in the area, and he's at every track he goes to, every class he races at. So it's good to see the hard work and dedication pay off with as many multiple car owners that he's raced with and raced for this season to put together such a competitive year that he's been able to and pick up as many wins as he has. It's really, really impressive for what all he's been able to do.
It is, Bobby. He's Mr. Versatility. I think there's a handful of guys in that state. I'm beginning to learn that guys like Chase Allen, like Jared, and like Caden. There's the guys that can just seem to climb in about anything in any part of the state on any kind of dirt or asphalt, even Villarreal, all of them that I mentioned earlier. Some guys that are just super versatile down there, and I rank them among the highest, the top 5 or 10 there is in the state. And there's hundreds of guys I look at all the time. Hell, I'm up to close to 70 races again, covered this year off our live stream. That's a lot of tracks and a lot of racing. And you're right, that's kind of my gig, is to study all this stuff big picture wise and to look at the tracks, the promoters, all the individual stats and stuff. And crunching the numbers was no easy task. It took an abacus, a couple of abacuses, and even an abacus and my buddy's computer to figure it out. It was some numbers. A lot of guys putting up good numbers. It's always a pleasure to do this and recognize these guys. Bottom line, to recognize the time and effort these guys put in to rack up these kind of numbers. I just think it's due each and every year.
You know, Phil, and I think this kind of falls in line, and I think it was just one of those things where it worked out this way. But with what we've talked about on the show tonight, we talk about Jeff Shepard that has kids playing high school football, and thank you for helping us with that. Taking time off because he's got those priorities in line. We talked to Drew Simmental. It's a family team right there with what they're doing. The other thing right here with Jared Maupin being the 2022, Revved Up Sports Show Race on Texas Short Track Driver of the Year on the weekly part. These guys, like you said, didn't know where he's going to be driving. He gets into these rides, but so much of this, Phil, is him, his dad, Bobby, longtime racer here. But these guys, this is a down-home race team, and he just racks up wins, and here he is winning stuff like this. Totally unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It's inspiring because he took kind of a down situation and an uncertain future, if you will. And him and his dad said, well, now we've got some equipment to run. At least once Fuller kind of gave him the call, they said, we got to make the most of this. And make the most of it they did, right? That's the understatement I'll give as I get ready to close out. I think it's much more important to hear from Mr. Moffitt himself and let him explain this stuff. But, man, you're right. I put Bobby, his dad, up on a pedestal. Jared told me when I first interviewed the man and met him a couple of years ago, he said, you need to study my dad and learn my dad. My dad was really gifted, and he praised his dad a lot. And a lot of people tell me the same thing, that Bobby was the man in modifieds, and I have huge respect for that guy. And, man, the Apple.
Oh, lost you there for a second, Phil. Sorry about that. Well, I guess
I don't think it was for a minute. I think we actually totally lost it.
Yeah, we'll have to check back in with him here in just a second. There we go, Phil. You still there, my man? Okay. Well, I think we lost him. Oh, I think we got a little phone issue here. Let's go to the hotline. I think we have the driver of the year. Are you there, Jared?
I'm here.
Sorry about that, man. Kind of one of those things here. Good.
Live radio and technology doesn't always go good together.
Technical stuff.
No problem.
Jared, I mean, seriously, for you, what a what a year. And like Phil was just talking about, for you to overcome, you didn't know where the next ride was going to be, but here you are. You've done it in multiple classes and series, man. Take us through it. It is so impressive to see what you've done.
Yeah, to start the year, we really had no idea what we were going to do. I knew for sure me and Dad could throw something together, at least, go to Corpus, go to Edna, go to I-37, and hit some weekly shows once in a while. And, hopefully just cross your fingers and jump in a ride here and there. But right at the beginning of the year, Jamie Fuller gave me a shout. And I know Jamie's got great stuff. I know he works hard through the week. And that was one I know for sure I couldn't turn down. Mm-hmm. Right from the start, I mean, we just got the ball rolling pretty quick. His stuff is good right off the bat. I think the only thing we had to do was maybe adjust from my driving style a hair. Yeah. And he's not afraid to make changes, nor am I. So it just worked. We were able to see eye to eye every week, make the right changes, just have the same mindset, work hard during the week, make the right change at the track, and it's showing. We're really consistent this year. We've had a handful of DNFs. I want to say maybe one or two, maybe three factory, maybe one or two in the sport mod, but it shows because we've raced a bunch. His stuff, never fails. I want to say two of those DNFs were probably me getting a flat, rubbing against somebody, but we had a couple engine failures, leading races, robbed a couple wins, but I couldn't say enough about Jamie Fuller. His stuff's been great. I'm excited to end the year in these big shows with the momentum we have and continue into 2023.
No doubt.
Jared, I think the one thing that amazes me with as many races that I got the call of yours, and it amazes a lot of other people, is how well you've maintained your smooth driving style in anything that you get in. The way that you're able to make the adjustments and either run it high, run it low, switching between the two cars. How hard is that for you to? Do you change your driving style between cars, or do you make the cars fit your driving style more?
Towards the beginning, I had to drive a little different, but since I'm driving the same cars over and over again, I'm able to adjust the cars to my driving style, where they all drive pretty much the same. Of course, one's got more motor, one's got less tire, so on and so forth. But I'd say that I have them set up very identical. Mm-hmm. So I'm able to jump in it and be comfortable right off the bat. But it does help, I think, driving one and then jumping in the other, because I think it gives me an advantage on track conditions but also helps me make a quick change, on a car to be better. Even, I say that, and then one bit me this week by throwing in a rubber last minute. Maybe we won't get into that one. But, I'd say I've adjusted the cars more towards my driving style just so I'm able to jump in and out of one and be comfortable right off the bat.
Yeah, Jared, and I do want. I mean, this is all about celebrating you, and it was ironic because I knew that I knew who the recipient was going to be before you did, and then I saw what happened there. But I mean, I do want to touch on that. I mean, that kind of sucks right there to where it's that fine line, gray areas, and all of that. And I know you're not going to sit here and beat up the racetrack, which I shouldn't. I mean, it wasn't a racetrack thing, but. Man, that's got to suck when you come into stuff like that, because we were talking to another driver earlier, and it's like, I don't really think it made that much of a difference. But, man, that had to be a real sour taste in your mouth at the end of that.
Oh, it did. So the night started feature-wise driving the trucks.
Yep.
So as the track got it's progressed, I started moving down and noticing, man, I'm able to drive this thing in harder than normal. And I know these trucks don't stick that well. I mean, something's going on, and I'm thinking this thing's taking rubber 100%. I know it's taking rubber. I'm able to get in the throttle a lot harder. So as I'm running across the scale, my dad's sitting there, and I told him, go throw the rubber in that right rear because this thing is taking rubber bad. And the sport mod's already lined up. So I get out of the truck, and I run across the pits and get in the sport mod, while my dad jacks up the right rear and throws in a rubber just to be safe because, the track takes rubber, cars get faster, and we were set up for, slick.
Right.
And I figured we were going to be too tight. So we made a little air pressure adjustment, and I told him, give me a rubber just to be safe. And I feel bad because it was my call 100%. We've read those rules 100 times. Me and him both agreed that it is legal.
Mm-hmm.
That was our understanding on it. And I told him throw it in. He was a little hesitant, but he did. We roll out there. We had a little issue with the brakes, but I tell you what, that car was on a rail.
It looked like it, yeah.
I don't know if I've been that comfortable in that car that year, all year as it was that night. I mean, it was on a rail. I couldn't ask for anything better. I think me and my dad hit it right on the money. I don't think that rubber won that race. I mean, it's a $13 spring rubber, just to help us out in a quick situation, just like Saturday. That's what it's meant for. It's a quick adjustment so that guys don't have to buy $80 springs and load up their trailer with $80 springs. They can throw in a rubber. It's quick. It's easy. It's $13, right? Enough said. I still kick myself. It was my call. I never would have thought that was going to be illegal. I don't beat up the track about it. I know they called IMCA. I know they got the call from IMCA. There happened to be an IMCA official at the track. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I want to say Jim something. But me and him discussed it after the race. And we got to the point where we just weren't seeing eye to eye. And he pretty much said, well, I know it's not in the rules, but I am the rules. So I'm telling you it's illegal. And I'm just looking at him like, that's your best explanation of this? I mean, I am the rules. So that's what was the most sour taste. Not so much the call, but his explanation. He couldn't explain why. I showed him, look, in the modified rules, which I've run a bunch this year, it says no spring rubbers under the same category. And it says in black and white, no spring rubbers. So I read the sport mod rules. In that same sentence, no airbags, no torsion bars, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't say no spring rubbers in that same sentence. So it tells me one has it, one doesn't, so it must be legal in this one. And he says, yeah, it doesn't say it, but I'll tell you again, I am the rules, and that's the call. So that was the biggest, sour taste that night. I couldn't get a clear answer. I heard one guy say that suspension stop. I heard another say something else. Just nobody was on the same page. So it was kind of frustrating because If they were all saying the same thing, I'd understand. But I couldn't get a clear answer. It was just frustrating. It really was, because I don't think that made a big difference. It was there as insurance because the track was so rubbered up, and I'm starting second, and it was just a quick change when I had to jump from one car to another. I didn't have time to change the spring, and I think it was a quick move, and I kicked myself over it.
Let's talk about the good stuff. Obviously, with the factory stock rolling, you had good momentum with that car. Won a bunch of races there at I-37. Won some stuff at Cotton Bowl. Won some stuff there at Texana and Corpus. Big money show coming up here in the next couple of weeks here around the state. Which one of these big money shows are you gonna try to hit? Or are you gonna try to hit all of them with all three cars?
I don't think I'd say the up north tracks. I don't think we'll hit much with the sport mod. We'll hit all the south tracks like we normally do. Me and Fuller are actually running Waco this coming weekend.
Nice.
It'll be the first time we've been there in a factory. We went in the truck early this year and picked up a win. So I've only been on that track one time. I think we have a really good car. I think we know what this car likes adjustment-wise. It's just going to take a few laps, a few hot lap sessions to really understand what the track likes. Up north, I haven't heard of, shows upcoming. We're excited to run big shows. I think we got a good car.
Yep.
Hopefully they start posting some flyers and we can start getting some stuff scheduled. But no, we're excited to start hitting these big shows. We got a really good hot rod. We just need some good luck.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And it has been a very impressive, not just this year. I mean, obviously this year you're our driver of the year, but I mean, just everything that you guys have done. I mean, you're one of those guys where, around the country, I do. You and Caden Honeycutt, I've talked about on different shows, are the ones that I see, and it's like, man, these guys are just so good at what they do, and they can do anything. And congratulations, man. I'm sorry you ran into a mall cop this weekend on that deal, because man, they kind of got you on that one. That sucks. They need to firm that stuff up. But first and foremost, man, great year. Congratulations on being our driver of the year, and super proud to talk to you anytime that you're available, buddy.
I really appreciate it. I don't think I ever would have guessed I'd be even in the running for this at the beginning of this year. Stuff just lined up. It's been a great year. I couldn't be more thankful for everybody that I got behind me. Mm-hmm. I'm just ready to, keep this momentum going. Heck, who knows? Maybe 2023 is even better.
That's right. No doubt about it.
Hadn't had a back-to-back driver of the year yet, but if you outdo 2022, that'd be saying a whole lot.
That's right. Be a great thing, man. Congratulations. Keep doing it, man. Looking forward to hopefully seeing you here at a racetrack real soon, man. I want to shake your hand and congratulate you in person.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
You got it, man. Take care.
Thank you.
You bet. There he is, Jared Maupin, 2022 Driver of the Year, Race on Texas, Revved Up Sports Show. What a year. And I mean, the guy, he's been solid.
So damn smooth, though.
Solid. And I know that's the thing. I mean, I've watched him, at races that I've done where he's been. It's like to watch him do what he's doing. It's like I see him kind of floating around at the back of the pack, and then boom, it's like there he is. It's crazy.
And he knows his stuff. I
know.
I forgot to ask him about being out. Last I remember, he was an engineering major up in College Station, mm-hmm. And I think he may have finally graduated from there.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so. So let's dive back in. Phil, sorry about that. Modern technology right here. As one call hit, the other one dropped, and I was like, oh my goodness. But so the selection right there. I mean, no doubt about it. And we just talked to the kid. I mean, such a great spokesman for the sport. And I mean, seriously, after what we were talking about earlier about NASCAR and some of that stuff that we just watched this weekend, to have him sit there and explain that situation that just happened this weekend, I mean, that's another reason where that's going to be the guy.
Yeah, because of his poise and composure. Was he upset? Of course he was upset. Hey, we all know this is a highly emotionally charged sport, and that man is as intense as they come on the short track level in the Deep South. And of course he was upset over the overall situation and the outcome and the lack of explanation. And by the way, it's no worry at all. We have a very big storm moving in the night tonight, so signal and stuff is very on and off here tonight. But it was so nice to be able to hear him speak, because I happen to be a huge fan of the man, the way he conducts himself, the way he handles himself, the way he speaks. As I say, Bobby's kid's got it all together from the way he works with the media and his talents behind the wheel. So thanks for the support and for the opportunity to come on and make the announcement, guys, and for supporting the Driver of the Year program again in 2022. And I promise you in a couple of weeks, when I dig around a few more names, I mentioned Chris Hennigan and Max Eddie Thomas and Paul White. Those guys are all having fabulous seasons on the touring level. So there's some pretty big wheel names I'm looking at on the touring series side. And I assure you, gentlemen, you'll be pleased with my announcement on that one as well.
Nice.
Well, Phil, we thank you for everything that you do for us as always. So thank you for your group for coordinating this, the promoter of the year and the racers of the year. So it doesn't go unnoticed and unappreciated by Rodney and myself. So once again, publicly, thank you for all you do for us.
Man, you're more than welcome, Bobby. Thank you for saying that. Guys, again, thanks so much for the opportunity and the time this evening. Great show. I listened to every bit of it. I'm a big Jeff Shepard fan, too. I interviewed that gentleman in the past and couldn't wait to hear him talk about his great season and, of course, what he's doing with that generation race car. I tell you, the cars that Jason Hunter is putting together for Justin Long and at GRC, man, are they all running strong. What Alex Hickam has done and Mr. Shepard and others, they just had a fabulous year. So it was so good to hear Jeff. And I'm getting to be a Drew Simmenthal fan at this point in time. And I laughed like mad when you thought he was still in diapers, for Christ's sake. And he's ready to go out and have a beer with you, dude. You killed me tonight.
I tell you, Phil, that's one of those things where, my wife is always telling me, she's like, man, you're still living like it 15 years ago. It's like a lot of shit has changed. And great example.
Yes, it has. And I'm only razzing you because the same thing happens to me. I'll look at some guy goes, hello, Mr. Whipple, how are you? And I'll say, I'm such and such a son. I'm like, what? You're whose son?
I know.
You used to come around hanging around my dad's place when I was a little boy, and I thought you was a big shit. Now, hell, I'm as big as you, and I might whoop your ass.
That's a bad thing, Phil. I get kids that come up to me now, and they're like, hey, my granddad used to race with you. I'm like, oh, fuck. Really?
Fun thing, the aging process, isn't it?
I tell you, man. But I still live like I'm 25. But that's another story, buddy. That is another story. Phil,
I hear you, man. Guys, thank you for the kindness and the appreciation as always. I'll let you wrap it up. It was a fabulous show. I look forward to speaking with you again, both in the future.
You bet, man. Be well. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Phil.
All right. Thank you now.
You got it. There he is, Phil Whipple. That is our main man right there, and a great selection right there as you go in. And yeah, I mean, there really are. I mean, because I go back to kind of when I was looking at some of that, because it is with, and I would challenge someone when we're talking about Caden Honeycutt. I would challenge someone to put Jared Maupin in a pavement car.
Oh man, that'd be good.
Are you? I don't think that. I mean,
Jamie Fuller's got some of that pavement experience from back in the day at San Antonio. He knows what he's doing.
I can only imagine that dude with what you were talking about, with just as smooth as he is. I mean, Jared Maupin in a pavement car. Holy shit! Are you kidding me? He would like. I think I'm not a betting man. I would bet money on that. I would almost bet money on that.
Now, what would you put him in, a modified or a truck?
I don't give a damn what. Well, maybe the truck may be better for him because he's been driving the trucks, but in a modified, my goodness, man, to see him put that foot to the floor on one of those things, man, that would be unbelievable.
That'd be good.
You pavement guys, you got a free seat. Call that dude and put him in your car in Houston if he's available, because he's got things going on. But a big congratulations right there is Jared Maupin, deservedly so.
Calm down, just one word at a time.
Jeez Louise. Wins the 2022 Race on Texas Revved Up Sports Show Driver of the Year. And a big congratulations there, Jeff Shepard. Great conversation with him. And Drew Simmenthal. I mean, what can you say about Big Drew? I mean, it's been fun to watch the progression. Apparently, I missed a few years, but I tell you, it's one of my marquee moments right there. I'm 22, almost 23.
Maybe you should go buy him a beer for his birthday.
And I'm like, dude, I'm still 35. I guess that's what I was thinking. I think I was 40, I guess, or 40-ish when I started racing with him.
Because let's see, if his birthday's on Wednesday, or upcoming on next Wednesday, I think is what he said. Next Wednesday or next Thursday. He's probably still living up in this general vicinity. You probably go with him to buy him a beer for his birthday.
I'm going to hook him up. I'm gonna hook him up. I'm gonna take care of my man. Good stuff right there. Thank you, Drew, for checking in. Thanks to all of the Get Some team for checking in there, as they were obviously very proud of what he did. And again, Jared Maupin, what a great year, and a very great award for him, and good stuff. And that's the man.
Thanks to 317 Awards. For
that's
doing
right.
that, for
That's right.
making the trophy that will be presented to him at some point. I don't know when, maybe the Clash.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that'd be a good time. We will definitely get that to Jared on the big win right there. Driver of the Year, Texas Weekly Short Track Driver of the Year. Bobby, rest of the week, my man. What's going on? It's gonna be cold, my brother. It's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be a little cold. Be a little football weather going down. Watching the Battle of the Birds with University of North Texas versus UTSA. So that should be a good little game down there in the Alamo Dome.
Going to be a fun time. You guys check out Monday Night Football. And remember that you can check in with us right here on Facebook each and every week, or at Rev'dUpSportsShow.com. Your weekly show is always available right there on the archive. Just hit that middle section of the webpage. The weekly show is right there, the most recent one.
And don't forget about our YouTube page. Lots of good stuff coming out on that one.
Yep, good stuff. Thank you all for checking in. Have a great week. Be nice to someone. You never know what they're going through. You're going to feel better as well afterwards. He's Bobby. I'm Rodney. We gone.